Yo, people, welcome back to DRSports. Welcome back to the transfer show. I'm your host to do the most and never coast, Matisse in the building. Big up your damn selves. Let's get into it. Loads of breaking news, loads of big talking points that we need to discuss today on the show. Firstly, Wesley Fofana, here we go, confirmed from Fabrizio this morning for around about £70 million plus add-ons on a 6-year contract. He is signing for Chelsea. That's all confirmed. Clubs reached an agreement. No surprise that the clubs reached an agreement right before or right after player registration for the Chelsea versus Leicester game. I was thinking that myself. It started to make more sense in my head. Why would Leicester sell him and then he plays at Stamford Bridge? Maybe that's the tactic. I don't know. I mean, it has given them less time to actually get into the market and spend that money. So, ups and downs, pros and cons to doing it in that style. But he has confirmed, the move is confirmed and it is happening finally. So Chelsea can move away from defenders and start to actually move on to other parts of the pitch. So that is done. But there are also some other big ones as well. Heavy hitters that are in the title. For sure, he's overpriced at 70 million. I think a lot of players are overpriced, to be honest, in this market. Man United fan, I think Antony's overpriced. I think Richarlison was overpriced. I think a lot of players right now are being overpriced. And for me, Fofana is not really surprising. He signed a 5-year contract this year. He signed a 5-year contract. He is 21. They paid, I think a lot of people forget, they paid 35 million for him. So it wasn't one of Leicester's cheaper acquisitions. It was quite an expensive outlay for Leicester City from Saint Etienne. So minimum, when you have a player on contract till 2027, when you can see the market's going mad, when he's young, he's got huge potential, you're asking for a minimum of 60 million, minimum 60 when you've paid 35. So for it to be 10 million more plus add-ons, I'm not really surprised in this market. I'm not going to lie. That's just the way it goes. But also, like I said, the market as a whole is very inflated. There's a lot of players going for money that you wouldn't expect them to go for. So you just have to take it at this point. And it's late, and it's also late. Maybe if this deal was done early in the window, maybe you would have got him for what you would value him at, because then they have time to go into the window and do their business. But with 4 days left, nah, you're going to have to pay. You are going to have to pay. So that's the situation. Not really surprising, but we move. Let's get into, obviously, Ronaldo as well. George Mendes trying to link up moves to Napoli. I'm seeing some of the Serie A Napoli fans on the TL going mad, hoping and praying that Ronaldo joins them. Maybe this is the one that happens for him. I don't know. It looks like as if they're still trying to push a move for him, considering the situation that is he is and was benched for Manchester United against Liverpool. Now, he is only just coming back from injury. You have to bear that in mind. He is, sorry, not injury per se, but he's only just come back into the team. I'm not sure he was actually injured, but he's only just come back into the squad. So that's an important factor to note. And maybe, just maybe, he needs to work up, his fitness levels and understand the system and all these things. But it feels pretty likely that he's not a huge part of the plans. He obviously wants to go anyway for Champions League football. And now Manchester United against Liverpool, the template is there. You scored goals, you won the game, you pressed, you played as a team, you did your jobs. Do they have to have Ronaldo in their side? I don't think they do. If they bring in the likes of Antony, if they bring in the likes of Gakpo, etc., then they go back to playing for each other as a team and not really playing towards one individual and relying upon him to bail them out. Now, the rest of the players have to take responsibility. Sancho, Rashford, Martial have to take responsibility, take the game by the scruff of the neck and understand that they, as players, are dependable. They're now going to have to be dependable. They're going to have to be reliable. So I don't think it's the worst situation in the world for Manchester United. They're not expected to finish top 4 anyway. So, I don't think it's the worst situation in the world. George Mendes apparently wants to swap, Man United swap deal with that there for Victor Osimhen as well, who obviously was pretty appalled, as most people would be, on the comments about AFCON from their, I think, sporting director, or some, higher board member that came out with those quotes. And for me, I'm not gonna lie to you. You know, it would be a brilliant deal if Man United can get it off, if we get it done. I don't think they're gonna be able to get a swap deal done because that's just gonna be really, really complicated. On top of that as well, when you take a look at Victor Oshimen's price point, it's really going to be very high, whereas Ronaldo's is obviously falling quite drastically for Man United through the floorboards. I don't think they're going to ask for a whole heap of money in a transfer fee, if any. So yeah, the comparison is not really there. Man United would have to slump up quite a bit of cash. And does Ten Hag even want Victor Osimhen is another question as well. That's the key here. If he doesn't want him, then there's no point in bringing him in. So there's a lot to go through there. I can't lie, it's a lot. But it's an interesting one, people. Let me know what you think about that in the comments as well. Let me know what you think about Ronaldo potentially going to Napoli. Does it make sense? Is it a good deal for him? Is it a good deal for Manchester United, etc.? I'm intrigued. I'm certainly very intrigued. Antony also, Fabrizio came out with an exclusive, I believe, on Antony. And this was fascinating, to be honest. He was really transparent, really open, really clear about what he wants as a player as well. He didn't leave any room for discussion. The guy clearly wants a move. He said that he made that very clear to them actually in February. And yet they're still not allowing it to take place. They're not allowing it to happen. So it's a tough one for Antony. But listen, the fee has been massive that Man United put on the table, 90 million euros, 74 million pounds. We know that they want Ziyech. Chelsea are looking for around about 37 million pounds, around about that fee. I've seen Ajax feel that's too high. If they can't bring in Antony, like I said, if they can't bring in Ziyech, then they're not gonna sell Antony, it seems. But if Antony's that set on going, and he's made it so clear, he's saying that his happiness is really related to, you know, where he's going to be playing next season. He feels like potentially his performances will drop off if he's not happy. But let's see some of these comments here, actually. That Antony interview is distasteful and I'm a United fan. Wow. So not impressed from the interview as a United fan. United should walk away and force Ajax to give him for a lower fee. I don't think Ajax are going to be forced into it, which is shocking because he would be a transfer record for a player coming out the Eredivisie. It's a massive fee for Ajax. Like, I know it's late in the window and they would have to replace him, but it's a massive fee for Ajax. It's a brilliant fee. And he obviously wants to go as well. And apparently he made that clear a while ago. So then on top of that, you have to kind of plan for that as a club and try and, maybe just maybe get yourselves together for that moment where he leaves, and don't do what we did with Courtois. When he made it clear he wanted to go to Real Madrid and we didn't really allow it to happen, or we didn't really find a replacement in the early part of the window. We didn't really want to accept the reality that we had lost Petr Cech for Courtois, and Courtois wanted to go to Real Madrid, wanted to go to Spain for family reasons. He made that clear to us. And then at the end of the window, we start panicking because he goes out on strike, or he misses training, or he starts to make it clear publicly he wants to go transfer request, which is what Antony's basically doing in a different way. And then this is where you start panicking as a club, and we bring in Kepa, right? That's the panic. And Ajax, they may panic or whatever. So, and now clubs are going to know as well that they've got this massive 90 million euros if they receive it, and they're going to probably get charged a lot more for whoever they go for. So, yeah, there's a lot going on there for Ajax. It's tough. It's very tough. I think if Ziyech was priced at a lower point, if Ziyech was available for the 8 million that we were seeing rumored not so long ago to Man United, I don't know where that price point came from, people, but it was weird. If we saw 8 million, then everything would be done. I think Antony would be gone, and I think Ziyech would be gone as well. But apparently Ajax won 100 million euros. So just 10 million more than what Manchester United paid or bid, was willing and prepared to bid. So a lot of money, man. But do you think Manchester United will bid? Let me know in the comments. I'm very intrigued to see. I mean, at this point, if you're going to bid 90 million euros, what's the difference, right? He's overpriced regardless. I don't know if you're that keen on getting him, if he's that important to you, then go for it, I guess. Obviously, we knew Fofana wouldn't be selected this weekend. He's been training with the under-23s. This deal will probably get done. Well, it is done, isn't it? So let's see when the clubs announce on that one as well. So on top of that, let's go through So we've gone through Ajax, we've gone through Napoli, which is really stunned me, to be honest. And now I want to look at Liverpool, who could offer Brazil forward Firmino in exchange for Paris Saint-Germain midfielder Paredes. Now, I don't really get this one, considering I'm pretty sure, and I'm not sure if it's done yet. It doesn't seem to be done clearly if this is coming out, but pretty sure Paredes is on his way to Juve. So unless Liverpool are trying to hijack that, which would be insane, then cool. But Paredes, last time I seen, was on his way to Juve. Wasn't far away from Juve. Wasn't far away from joining. I don't think that's completely true, personally. I don't think Liverpool would go for a player like Paredes. So, but that's reported by Italian media. So I thought I'd let you guys know. But I don't see that one. I don't see it. And I definitely don't see an exchange between Firmino and Paredes, because exchanges are very difficult to do this late on. I still don't even think they'd even get rid of Firmino. We saw Firmino links earlier on in the transfer window as well. Don't think that will happen. Don't think he'll go anywhere. But Liverpool do want a midfielder. I did see Klopp's quotes yesterday. Quite big quotes, in fact. We'll actually read them out, because we'll go through a few other important matters as well that Fabrizio did tweet out. But this one, Klopp announces, "Yes, I am the one who said we don't need a midfielder." Wow. "And you were all right and I was wrong. Now we are going for a midfielder. We will do everything, but it has to be the right one." Massive statement from Klopp. He didn't feel he needed a midfielder, but he's fair play to him. He's admitted that he's wrong. It's a bit late. It's the 27th of August, but he's admitted that he does need a midfielder. And if now they don't get the midfielder, then we know now that Liverpool know their own weak spot, which is in midfield. And it's obvious, when you have to go to Old Trafford with Milner, Henderson, Elliott as your midfield three, you know that you need a midfielder. And I keep saying, even though numerically they have enough numbers, when Thiago comes back, when Keita's there, when Fabinho's there, then you add Milner, Henderson, Elliott, Carvalho, potentially. That's a lot of players. That's what I've just named out, a whole seven players there. It's a lot of midfielders. However, when you look at the amount of midfielders that they have that are injury prone, that are unreliable from an availability standpoint, they need a midfielder. And just from a quality standpoint, they need a midfielder. So it's going to be interesting to see if they get that midfielder, but they may have left it too late to get the quality that they're looking for. But we shall see. So very big quotes there from Klopp. And I wasn't expecting that, to be honest. But fair play to him for recognizing that he probably does need a midfielder. Speaking of midfielders, Paqueta from Lyon is about and expected to fly to England later today. This is from Fabrizio 3 hours ago, to undergo a medical and complete his move to West Ham. The final step before it's done, as Lyon and West Ham have agreed since Friday. AC Milan and Flamengo are expected to receive some of that fee as well. And obviously Lodi, not N.Forest, pushing to sign Lodi from Atletico Madrid. 5 million loan fee offered. Also, buy option included, around 30 million euros, which is insane again. Another player could be going to Nottingham Forest. And this is obviously going for the left side position, left back, left wing back, left midfield. Lodi's played in all of those positions. I'm stunned that they're still able and still trying to sign players, but it is quite incredible. How this looks, I don't know. They're building an absolute mad team. And yeah, this is a player that maybe you could even say that Liverpool could have gone for, It's actually insane. Paqueta, that is easily a player that you could say that would have suited maybe Liverpool to go for. But yeah, it actually would have been nice as well to see Paqueta at Newcastle, to see Joe Linton, Bruno Guimaraes, and maybe him together as the three Brazilians. I'm not going to lie. But yeah, West Ham are signing a very good player. And they needed a midfielder desperately as well, because Noble retired. Souček needs competition. So that's an interesting one. Maupay as well has completed his move to Everton for an undisclosed fee. 26-year-old has signed a 3-year contract at Goodison Park. For me, that screams relegation battle, that signing. They needed a striker. They brought one in, but it's not exactly the most prolific, striker you could find out there. But again, this is where Everton are at financially and also in the table. Newcastle have also, of course, signed Isak. We know that. And Nottingham Forest have apparently also made an approach for Everton defender Michael Keane on loan. how many players do they need, man? It's insane. It really, really is insane. I'm flabbergasted, people. I really am. And to finalize on this one as well, before we go back to the comments, Tuchel has admitted Chelsea must consider N'Golo Conte's wretched injury luck in potential new contract talks for the France star. I think that's more about wages, more so than actually whether he'll offer the contract or not. I think Chelsea will offer Kante a new contract, but I think wages wise, it will have to reflect the lack of game time he's had over the years. That's how I feel it's going to go. Kante will miss at least another month due to the injury that he obviously sustained last week, hamstring injury. And with the 31-year-old battling setbacks for the last few years, the World Cup winning midfielder, Chelsea's contract expires next summer at the same time as Jorginho. And yes, you have to consider everything Tuchel says that is on the table. And on the table is his potential. On the table is his influence and his quality, but on the table, of course, is his age, his salary, his injury rate, of course. But there you build a whole picture and try to find a solution. So that's Thomas Tuchel's quotes on that matter. I've been saying it for years, people. You know, for me, Kante, very, 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 very important top player. When he's on song, he's absolutely world class. But you don't get that often enough because of these injury issues. And if he's going to sign new contracts, it's going to have to be heavily reduced wage-wise, because you're just not seeing him as the integral part of the team that he once was, because you're not going to get him week in, week out. You have to replace him. You have to replace him if you're Chelsea. And you have to start treating him maximum as a bonus, as a player that you use sparingly, as a player that if you have available, then lucky you. But when you don't have available, your whole team cannot come crashing down, which is what currently actually happens. So let's see. A few questions before we wrap up. Where do you think Newcastle will finish this season, and do you see them making more signings before the end of the transfer window? Let's take a look at Alexander Isak. They were linked with wingers. He's more of a forward. Callum Wilson's obviously out. I wouldn't rule it out for Newcastle to make one more deal, but it would have to be the right deal for them. I don't think they're in any panic frenzy to find players or anything like that. And if it was a player, I would bet on it to be a winger, because I still do feel like they could be better out wide. Have someone for Almiron, someone that goes alongside St. Maximum and really is just there in terms of level. But apart from that, I don't think there's any massive need to do anything else. I think outside that, I think they're pretty good. So yeah, no worries for Newcastle on that side of things. Let's see. Do you think the reason you are not going in for any midfielders might be because you are going and waiting for Rice next summer? I believe you can do both. Same with Liverpool, who could be waiting for Bellingham. I think if you want Rice, that's great, but you can have Rice next summer and still get a midfielder now, because Jorginho's contract's running out. So are you going to renew that? Not sure. On top of that, Kante's contract's running out. Are you going to renew that? Not sure. So it's not like, for me, you absolutely have to, sign one midfielder and that's it. You can get one now, and there's no guarantee that you're going to get Rice next summer. So you want to get Rice and you can go in for Rice, but there's no guarantee you're going to actually get Rice. So, and the more important point is it worth sacrificing potentially your top four this season for getting Rice next summer? Really, this season you need to make top four. So it's not even a fun aspiration to have. It's just the bare minimum requirement. We need to make top four, and this could be the decider. If our midfielders are injured and other teams have their midfields fully fit and actually in position to make and do damage, we may miss out on top four because of it. And that is a terrible, terrible season for us if we finish outside of the top four, regardless of whether you get Rice or not. So, yeah, strange situation, people. But unfortunately, people don't seem to think it's a big issue as I believe it is. So it is what it is, people. But for me, I think it's a massive glaring issue in the team. And Liverpool have finally also realised it's a glaring issue in their team, it seems, with those quotes. But is it too little, too late? We'll have to see. But like I said, I don't think the quality of midfielder that Liverpool would want is going to be available in this last few days, unless they do some very incredible scouting. We'll have to see if they can find somebody. United are coming for it this season. Trust me, Casemiro going to be the difference. I think Casemiro is Casemiro is going to be very important for Manchester United. For years, Manchester United have needed a DM, and now they've got players as well that can help him build up, like Eriksen, maybe even Van der Beek when he plays as well. Whether he'll play with Eriksen or just instead of him, we'll have to see. Fred, will obviously know him from international duty. So yeah, I think you're building, you're finally starting to buy the players you actually need. If you get Antony as well, and you actually stick with what you did, which was Martial, Rashford, Sancho, and veer away from the Ronaldo more and more, I think you're actually going to do better for it. So very interested to see it. But guys, make sure you smash up the like, smash up all of the icons, and make sure you let me know in the comments what you make of all of these transfer stories and different rumors flying about. And of course, here we go for Fofana as well. Big up your damn selves, and make sure you subscribe to DR Sports. In a bit, people. Peace.